All right, welcome to Verified. I'm Chad, better known as Riz, and today I have Vetest with me, Marco, and he's going to show us some new updates of the Vetest P2P platform he's been working on. This is essentially a user interface that's kind of a skin over top of Reggie's intent platform. So, Marco, welcome.
Thank you, Riz. Good to be back on. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
liking what you got going on here. In fact, I'm actually going to jump right into a share screen so we could show everybody what you've been up to.
Okay. Yeah. Been in the lab doing a lot of work. We've built out a lot of new functionality here. So good stuff for future verified episodes to come. But today we're going to focus on the intent channel here, the intent communities. And right now I'm on the home page of the VE Test app. And on the right side here, we see the menu bar. And right here, Intent Classic. I'm going to go ahead and click this and enter this room. And what this is, it was the first version or first round of integrating in Reggie's platform and his intent process. And so I've got a light, I call it a light integration here. For the technical folks, it's just using an iframe to embed in his web page. And what I've done since then is transform that, or I've moved it now into the P2P world. And so when I click up here on the new intent community, we see a different skin, as Riz mentioned. Uh, the, the functionality under here is the same, but the look and feel is integrated into this platform, into the app on top of my node here. And so we see the same basic input fields, but the look and the style has been updated to match the platform, and it does kind of show the flexibility of Waku and the nodes. You can you can link in to other apps. You can build it full P2P here, or any state in between. So it is quite flexible between what we might call the old world and the new world of P2P. And so if we want to just jump right in, Riz, to the process here,
Sure.
uh, we've got a top panel here. This is where we create a new intent, and the intent is just what the word means. I'm going to broadcast my intent to exchange the value from, let's call it ETH in this case, for USDC. And I'll broadcast that out. And anyone who's basically logged in here or looking or watching this space, this is all built on what we've termed earlier, the community area where anybody can come join into the conversation, so to speak. So Riz is logged in, but I don't know that. I don't know who else is out here. All I know is I'm going to broadcast my intent, and hopefully somebody will pick that up. So we'll go ahead and go through that. The other terminology is I'll be the maker, and the other person, Riz, will be the taker. So whoever is the one that broadcasts their intent, they're the maker, and the other person takes their offer or their intent. So we'll let me just put in, let's call it 0.001 Ethereum, Ether, I guess, and that's worth roughly $3 USDC. And so we see the intent will be broadcast to all participants. So literally anyone in the room who happens to be on this intent channel, whether it's in my app, vetest.app, or if they're in Reggie's app or some other person or party who've built to Reggie's protocol, the intent will flow across all of those platforms. So you don't necessarily have to be on any one. If it's built correctly, it'll just capture the flow across Waku. So when I broadcast this, a couple of things will happen, but we'll see my active intents will get populated, and then I'll switch over to Riz and we'll look at his. So I'm logged in today as Carl, a test account I've got, and it has some permissions up here, none of which are pertinent to this particular function. Anybody on the platform can access the intent channel and interact with it. So I'll go ahead and hit broadcast, and we see down here Carl shows Carl's intent was broadcast with the time, and it actually shows by design just the assets that are part of his intent. So his intent is, it's pretty simple. You can tell his intent, he wants to transfer the value from ETH into USDC, and he's waiting for interest from a taker. So now I'll just flip over to you, Riz, and we can check out your side.
Yeah, so on my side, I do see active intents and I see your offer or Carl's offer, E3 USDC, and I'm going to negotiate this.
Okay. And now we see what it's done. It's brought us into a private meeting room where just Riz and I are chatting with each other. Remember, we don't know each other. They're just two people that are accessing this off the internet. First thing are some disclaimers that everyone will want to read through. Then the next part, the next second message is actually uh, tailored by role. So we see in mine, welcome maker. I'm the maker on this intent, and it knows my name, welcome Carl. And it tells me a user named Riz has expressed interest in my ETH USDC intent, and they want to negotiate. And so the protocol keeps the values out of the first broadcast by design for privacy purposes. So right now, Riz, the taker in this situation, knows he's interested in acquiring ETH and spending his USDC or transferring that. And I'm the opposite. So I'm going to let him know that I'll just paste this down in here that Carl is offering zero point zero zero 0.001 ETH and he's seeking 3 USDC. And that equates to a rate of $3,000. And I see he's already seen me and said hi to me. So I'll put in my greeting. Hi, Riz. Oop, I'm offering, and then I'll just send that. And we'll go over to
Perfect.
Riz.
Sure. So like Marco said, I saw Carl's offer. I came in, I greeted him, and now I see the offer again here. And now I'm actually going to negotiate it. So how about 0.0015 ETH for 3 USDC, just to show the negotiation function here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just chuckling because
Oh,
you're
3,000.
already getting a screamer deal, and now you want it even better. But it shows, the person that has the best negotiating skills, or later on when we bring in agents to this equation, this could essentially be our agent negotiating with each other instead of us personally. And based on the rules we set up, the agent could be as aggressive or conservative as you want. So just for the purposes of the demo, I'm going to accept it. I'll say, yeah. He says, how about 10015? There's two ways I can do it. I can say create an intent with Riz, or I could jump into the proposed settlement lock over here.
Very
So I'll
cool.
go ahead and create an intent with Riz. And we see that slides out a new panel from the side here. And this is the intent lock, and it'll be settled via HTLC atomic settlement. And so where we're at, I'm the maker, and the current stage, we're creating the intent. Here's Riz. We see it's picked up the original amount. So to sync up with our agreed amount, I'll just go ahead and make that 0015, and that's still going to 3 USDC. And I'll propose that to Riz. And first, I'm going to need to connect my wallet. And now I'm going to go ahead and sign that. We see the agreed to terms of Carl is now offering 0015 ETH for the 3 USDC for Riz. So he drove a hard bargain and got me in here.
Yeah.
But we also see neither the maker nor the taker has signed up for this yet. And it brings up a good point. Either party can exit the transaction and nothing happens. If any funds have been deposited into escrow, they'll be returned. In this case, nothing's been deposited, so you would just revert back to the original state. So I'll go ahead and have Carl sign the intent lock. We can see here it's intent lock terms, and it has its own ID here, custom and unique, and also the specific negotiation room ID that we're in. I had mentioned earlier that we're in a private room, the two of us just negotiating here. So no one else can get in. They need the key to get in. So we're guaranteed that Carl and Riz are having a private conversation here. Nobody eavesdropping. So we'll go ahead and confirm. And we see the intent lock was signed. Now we'll flip back over. Oh, before I do that, I see here the maker has signed, but the taker's not signed yet. So we'll go over to Riz and see what his says.
Perfect. So you'll notice my screen just popped up. It was all automated. So as soon as Marco initiated the intent, it actually popped up on my screen. And I couldn't do anything until Marco or Carl actually signed the intent lock. And now it's kind of punted it back over to me, and it's my turn to review the transaction or the negotiation or the deal and sign the intent lock. So I see the deal has been updated to the 0.0015 ETH for 3 USDC, and I'm simply going to accept it. And I'm going to confirm.
Okay. And it did indeed kick it back over to me. We see now the next step. We've both we've both locked in, basically our agreement, right? What we signed up for. Now I want to lock my side of the assets in. So I'm going to lock into this HTLC settlement contract 0.0015 ETH. Go through the MetaMask signature, and we see the maker now has locked their asset into the HTLC. But again, another point, it says locked, but if anybody exits out of the transaction, the funds will be returned. Say, Carl got sidelined with something else and got pulled away and wasn't able to finish. We see down here a time lock. This is actually part of the patent in the protocol too, is to put a time lock on here. And we see just under 24 hours for the taker and 48 hours for the maker. And the maker here, it's telling me that Carl has locked his 0.0015 ETH into the escrow wallet. And now it's waiting for the taker to do likewise. So we'll flip back over to Riz.
Perfect. And this step here, Marco has just described, this is the digital escrow or the programmable smart contract acting as an escrow. So this is the function that removes the middleman or the custodian, allowing us to kind of transact with each other without anybody in the middle. So I am also going to fund this escrow account that's going to hold our funds. I'm going to lock in my 3 USDC. I'm going to confirm.
This is running on testnet, so may not be the speediest. And okay, now we see back from Carl's side that the taker has locked their 3 USDC into the HTLC contract. And now, again, we're following the patent and the protocol. We see both sides are locked with the values. And now there's a secret key involved. And so this is, again, part of the protocol design. The maker will copy this and paste it in. And this shares that secret key between the two parties and takes us to the next step. So the secret has been revealed, and now we see we're ready to both sides are locked in to the contract. You literally do control the funds all the way up until the point of settlement. And further to Riz's point, indeed, that it is a smart contract. The platform never holds your funds, never takes control of your funds. It's always the smart contract, always upon agreement from both parties. So there is no middleman in between us here. It's literally Riz and myself and Carl here in the transaction. So I'll go ahead and have Carl claim his 3 USDC, and we see the maker has redeemed. Now we can go over and check out Riz's side as the taker.
And I am also going to claim my ETH, and I'm going to confirm. And now I've claimed, and I see all the transaction hashes right here on the bottom, and I can actually open them up.
Correct. Those are the live uh, blockchain settlements of the atomic value transfer, and for each step here that we went through. So there's 4 of them because the maker and the taker each lock their transactions in first, then the maker and the taker each claim their transactions. And so there's literally a blockchain record for each of those. And it may be a good point to highlight the blockchain. We're doing atomic swaps through the HTLC contract, and it's being settled on in this case, the base Sepolia test blockchain. But it can be built to be blockchain agnostic. When we go to live production, it will migrate to the base chain instead of base Sepolia test. Will be on base mainnet, but it could be any chain. It could be Ethereum, it could be Sol, it could be Tron. Uh, Reggie picked base to build the protocol on because it's fast and cheap, among his reasons. And so I just wanted to point that out. We're not strictly dependent on the base, or in this case, base Sepolia blockchain. We're dependent on it to settle that HTLC contract. And that's all. We're not, this isn't a DEX. This
Right.
isn't, we're not taking control of anything. You're literally depositing into your own smart contract that was built on the fly here. And both parties now ended up with what they wanted. Uh,
Am I right
Carl,
in saying that this is actually built on Waku or the Logos now, as it's called, and not actually built on base? Am I right in saying that?
you are 100% right. It's formerly known as Waku, or we still call it Waku, but it's Logos Communications. And that's the communications layer of the platform. And it's basically in the P2P world, everything is just a message. So there's literally hundreds and thousands of messages flowing across Waku, and we just pluck out the ones that are pertinent to us. So when it started in that community town square with the original broadcast, that was a message that got broadcast out, and we picked up on it. And through exchanging messages back and forth between Carl and Riz, we've populated that HTLC and then executed it and settled it on the base Sepolia chain, which could be any chain that it was built to. So yeah, you're
Right.
absolutely right.
And then just to expand on that, Waku or Logos Communications now is essentially a messaging platform, but this is running on a node that you built out on this platform. So this is a fully distributed node. So should any other nodes go down, this actually can still run, even if base went down, or as we saw, AWS servers went down and kind of took out a large portion of the communities down. But this necessarily wouldn't be affected unless you were dealing with those chains, because this is separate and running on distributed nodes.
Correct. Correct. If I go ahead and close out of there, if I can hit the X, down at the bottom, you'll see what I call the health bar. And we see it's green, but here's the version of Waku or Logos communication that we're running on is V0.36. But the one next to it is the one I want to point out, Peers 33. So I'm directly connected to 33 other nodes on the Waku network. And beyond that, second and third level is basically everybody else. So say there were 700 nodes out there, this code is running on one of them. If 300 of those other nodes go down, we'll still be in operation. It just reroutes through the peer connection. And so it is more resilient that way. It's sort of like Bitcoin from the perspective of, to take out Bitcoin, you got to wipe out every node, right? Every last one. And if one node pops back up, it can resurrect itself. And this is sort of a similar concept here. Once you get one isn't enough. Obviously, you need to be able to communicate. But if you have a small amount, 3 or 5, something like that, you can come up and run just as if you had 33 or 330. So that is the power of the distributed P2P network.
Very cool. And then eventually we're going to get to the point where all Veri community members or anybody interested can actually run their own node. Um, and I believe you said that Waku or Logos is have added to their roadmap that they're looking to reward people for running their own nodes.
Correct. Correct. They recognize that it costs a certain amount of time and money to run a node, right? You have electricity, you have your device that it's running on, and they want to reward people for that. Just like, Bitcoin and Ethereum, you get benefits from running a node. Similar concept. Um, it's on their roadmap. I don't know when they'll get to it. There's no specifics to it. But from what we can tell, there were at least two components to it. It's running the Waku node itself, and then another subcomponent we haven't talked about, a sister technology, formerly known as Codex, but now known as Logos Storage, and that's the file storage component. We can demonstrate that. Maybe that's a good time to switch over to a chat room and show the audience what that looks like from a usage perspective. And this brings up a couple of other points now where I could attach a file right in here if I so choose, right? I can take I'll take this, and you can see here it's loading up, and I can send that into this chat if I want. What I'll do, Riz, is suggest let's go over to the Smart Metal community where we can chat in there. And this is going to demonstrate a feature of why you may want to have a Smart Metal NFT. Because when you try to enter the room, you'll see, oh, there's some requirements here. And the requirement to enter this Smart Metal community, this chat room, is you've got to hold at least one Smart Metal NFT on the base chain. And to prove it, we'll sign a verification message. Doesn't cost you any gas, but it proves that you have the NFT, and it will grant you access for 72 hours. So I can connect my wallet, and it actually goes out and it sees, oh, look, this user does indeed have one NFT here. So let's let him in. He can join the room. And now we're in a room. In this case, it's empty because I've emptied it out for the demonstration. But I'll go ahead and let you, Riz, go through the same process and then we'll continue.
Perfect. And I really love this feature, by the way. I'm currently set up as a moderator. So because Marco has set me up as a moderator, oh, I guess I still do have to verify.
Yeah, the mods do. The sysadmins have
Oh, my
free reign
mistake.
on the platform, and that's because for their job, they need to go into every room and provide support or fix bugs. A moderator, the difference is a moderator is user facing, and they're going to make sure the content in each of these rooms is something that we want, right? That, people post all kinds of things out there, so we want the ability to
Keep it
fix
clean.
any issues.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to join, and it's approved. It's proven that I also have one NFT. So I am now in the room.
And we can look up at the top and glean some important information here. We see that, hello, Carl from Riz. We see Riz is a premium. He's designated premium now. He just acquired this new tag, and he acquired that when he proved that he has the what it takes to enter this room. And so now we know he's gone through that proof check and he's labeled now as a premium user. We also see the lock, which means it's an encrypted message. This hello Carl is encrypted. Along with, above that, we see the room itself is encrypted. And we see my wallet address that verified in, and we see how much time I have left until the next check, right? Above that, we see the topic or purpose of the room. It's an NFT holder community where we can discuss precious metals, verify authenticity, share insights, or discuss other NFT opportunities. Basically, anything around the Smart Metal and Smart Metal NFT is fair game for discussion. Then the private lock, again, encrypted lock for the Smart Metal room, and we see one message in here thus far. And so I can actually respond and say, hey, Riz, how's it going? We can also, I'll go ahead and let you respond to that. We see
Sure.
also Carl is designated as premium because he had to pass the test as well.
Right. So the goal here is essentially to create new chat room communities to allow us to essentially graduate from Telegram and focus our efforts in a more secure private place. Um, and this is just one example. Uh, this would be specific to Smart Metal NFT holders. And some of the options here um, is well, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to respond to the message, but I'm also going to add a little image here.
Oh, wow. So Carl sees that. He's like, hey, this is pretty cool. What Riz put in here? You can click it and expand it. And this is really neat. I'll let Riz explain this, but what I'll explain the mechanics behind it. That what Riz did, he just posted a file in here and it saved the file out to Codex, formerly known as Codex, now Logo Storage. So that's the extra component I talked about. This is actually stored out, in the logo storage realm. You could kind of think of it as the P2P equivalent of IPFS, if the viewers know about that. And so you can interact with this however you want. You can download it, and it'll pop up the download properties there. You can also react to messages out here, including file attachments. And I'm going to give Riz some fire here, and then I'll let him explain what this is.
Perfect. Essentially, this is an idea that we had to help beta test the P2P platform, essentially what we just showed you before we entered this room. So the idea here would be to invite Smart Metal NFT holders to join us in beta testing. We're going to probably start off with 100 intents. Should we need more, we could add to it. But the idea here would be if you help successfully finish an intent, you'll be rewarded with a special NFT, kind of showing your participation in the early stages of testing this platform. So it'll be something that'll be specific and special to everyone that helps us beta test, and hoping down the road that it opens up new opportunities for those that have helped test, whether it be discounts on future products, or whatever future initiatives that we roll out. Sure.
Once the users earn this NFT here, this special one, then what we can do is use that NFT the same way we did to get into the Smart Metal room, except it'll be a special room just for these people who've actually earned this NFT, and then that's how they could access the benefits that you mentioned and other
Right.
potential benefits. So I just wanted to point that out. And yeah,
Perfect.
the video call concept on there is, um, sometimes you need a face to face, right? We've got other rooms here that have other functionality where a face to face conversation would be beneficial. So we wanted to put this in. Right now, it's limited to just two people, person to person. Down the road, want to add the ability to have one to many or multiple people in the call. But this is all part of our process or our approach to basically we want to wean ourselves, as Riz said, off of Telegram. Telegram is centralized. Telegram stores lots of information, and Telegram is a magnet because of that for bad guys and for regulators and everyone else who wants that information, uh, regardless of the cost, even to the person involved. And so this platform doesn't do that, right? It's a whole different animal. And so, anyway, some of the benefits of the P2P world. But the video call, there is I believe the Waku slash Logos team is working on enabling video natively to the platform. That's a change that's coming, a new feature or functionality. Um, I built this in before that even happened, but I think what's happening is they're seeing the need for this, right? And so I went ahead and built it in. And once they enable that natively on the platform, then I'll just migrate this functionality. The user shouldn't even know the difference, really. So we can try it. It may or may not work because we're actually on video recording as we're going to try to do a video call, but we'll kind of see the effect here. So when I click it, it knows that there's only one other person in here in the Smart Metal room right now. If there were other people in the room, it would give you a choice, a list here. That's one way. The other way you can do it is, uh, I thought I had it enabled here. I may not. I'm adding a capability where you can right click the user and get into video that way as well. So I'll go ahead and see what happens. We can see it's requesting permission to use my cameras and microphone, and I'll just say allow. And now it literally has sent the message over to Riz to, waiting for him to connect. And when that happens, it sort of transfers into the browser, and then the browser goes P2P. So we can actually see, right? Good job. I'll kill my mic just in case there's any audio issues, but we see the video call is end-to-end encrypted using WebRTC P2P technology. So again, built right in, you can move this thing around within your window, right? You can change the size of it, shrink it down if you want. It's early days on the functionality. Once I learned that Waku slash Logos team is trying to build in the function natively, I stopped development on this particular portion just to wait for them to catch up. And then once they get it enabled, then I'll switch back and start building this out additionally with more people, et cetera. But you can see it's a nice, clear picture. It's free, built totally in. It actually uses the same technology under the covers that Zoom and many of the other video chat platforms use. So,
Very cool.
yeah. Okay.
Video in video on a Zoom call. That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive. We do see it's secured. Again, nobody else can get in here. It's encrypted between Riz and myself, and there's just the two of us in here at this time. So, pretty powerful feature, and all for free, just a side benefit.
I'm going to close my window now.
Yep.
Perfect. So is there anything else you want to show us while we're in this room or move on to another room perhaps?
I think we kind of covered it. That's the basic functionality in here. There's other features that we'll let people kind of explore and find on their own. I do want to highlight some of the additional functionality and communities that we're building in here. So far, we've built a Smart Metal storefront now. This replicates the functionality of Jeremy's Quantum Metals site, where officially people go to purchase the smart metals. Well, now we're going to have another path to that same purchase process, only it's P2P. And the settlement, the payment and the settlement of this utilizes Reggie's protocol under the covers. And so what I kind of wanted to point out, this process of, you can place an order, all the functionality is the same, or even maybe better than the native functionality. But
Well,
it
this case,
all
sorry,
builds.
that case there, you can actually use crypto now. I mean, I know you could before, but it was definitely a roundabout way to do it. But this now you
Yes,
can actually directly buy it with crypto or a stable coin.
correct. This one, once I filled in my information, I've got it right now set up. You can pay using ETH, using USDC, or using Veri. So we're actually now rebuilding, I'll say, use cases for the Veri token. So if you choose, you could actually use Veri now to purchase the smart metal. And so that's a good point. And over time, we can open that up to use just about any token that's supported. If you wanted to use Bitcoin, for example, we can do that too. So over time, we'll add those capabilities. But what I wanted to highlight, the settlement process or the actual payment for this using those crypto tokens is built on the same protocol that's underneath what we first looked at, the intent process, which is the same as the classic. Underneath the covers of all these is Reggie's Veri value transfer protocol. And for anyone who builds on that protocol, you can get these features, right? You can build them in. Your platform could look totally different. You could be selling entirely different things, as we see here. The first one, we're publishing or broadcasting intents and settling between some tokens. Over time, this will expand as well. The from and the to, built out to the max of Reggie's concept, this can be anything to anything. This could be a gallon of milk to a dozen eggs, and it can all settle on Reggie's protocol. That's the beauty of this. So every room here where we have any kind of transaction, we run it through Reggie's settlement protocol to end up with the user's desired results. So We have the Smart Metal P2P I showed you. Now, here's an exciting new concept over the last few weeks we've started building in professional services marketplace where I've actually tokenized services. So you can, professional, say Adam here, can sell his consulting services to the public for whatever rate he determines and for however many. And somebody would come in, somebody like me could come in and look at this and go review his credentials here and see what it is. They can investigate Adam and see if he's a legit seller on here. And oh, I need some consulting services. Let's go for it here. We can actually see the tokenized symbol and the contract for Adam's services. You can actually go look. Here's what the contract. We can see the token tracker for Adam's consulting services, right? So that here it is out on the blockchain. He's created 40 of these. So say call that one token allows you 1 hour of consulting. He's created 40 of them out there with this name. These are NFTs out on the blockchain, right? He created it 6 days ago. He created it 6 days ago, and there it is. So just like anything, you'll be able to see the holders. Right now, it's just Adam with his 40. But as people buy it, right, their NFTs would be listed in here as well. They'd be purchasing part of those 40 hours worth of NFTs. So that's a way that Adam now can tokenize his labor and sell it, publish broadcast intents and allow other people to become a taker and purchase his service, all settled on via the HTLC contracts using Reggie's protocol, Veri value transfer protocol. So very powerful.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then of course we're going to plug in agents to help us find all this stuff for us. So
Correct. I've got to start now in a room. This is a totally different view of a product catalog. Say if you want to go somewhere today and on the internet and purchase something, you go look at their catalog and you find what you want and you click on it and buy it. Well, what we're doing now is we're adding this interface where you and your agent can come in and just say, what am I looking for? I'll be very simple here. Well, I want some silver. Well, it'll pop up. Well, we see silver around here, and you can click into that and actually purchase that. But if you can imagine, if we have other products in here, maybe it would be a silver necklace for one, or silver iodide, or anything with silver in it. That's a way you could train your agent then to go out, find what you want, and you can give your agent rules on purchasing it. So you could say, hey, my agent, I want a 1 ounce silver round. It needs to be from a reputable firm. Put in all your rules and then just kick it off and let her go and go to work or go run your errands or whatever, and let your agent do all the heavy lifting. So that's where we're headed with this. It's going to upend the entire process of purchasing something, over the internet. This will literally be, when we're fully built out, describe what you're looking for. If it's legal and allowable, it will show up in here and you'd be able to purchase it, whether it's a product or services, professional services, or even a combination of them.
that's
So,
amazing.
yeah,
Very exciting stuff.
exciting stuff to come. And you can see here, we're building out. We have other videos on Riz's channel talking about, demonstrating some of these other rooms and functionalities here. And this will continue as we build in more communities eventually this will be a Rolodex of communities for people to go explore, some of which are like chat rooms, some, communication type things, others, rooms like this where you go purchase things or any combination in between. So we're kind of at the very bleeding edge now of a new revolution of what the P2P world brings to the table in terms of its power and functionality. So really exciting stuff.
Very exciting. And then just to clarify, the user can actually populate this community the way they want. So if there's something there they don't want, they can remove it, or if there's something missing, they can add it. Um,
Correct. Correct. That's through settings up in the gear up here. You can go down and adjust. If you want a different order, you can grab these and move them around. If there's one you just have no desire of looking at, you can just delete it off of there. And so this is the settings is where you come in and just like anything, you set up all your email address. If you want a unique display name, you connect up your wallets, etc. You can see the roles that you've been assigned and whatnot. You can also see the version of the app. We're on V0.18 and the full version. So lots of functionality in there. There's a user guide as well, full user guide on any of this. If you are interested in learning about professional services, you can go ahead and click into there and study up on all that. And then I'll just say one other point for the viewers. Vetest.app will be the final URL when we go live. Right now, our production instance isn't ready, but you can hit vetest.app and come in and actually review the functionality. You can order up some smart metals. You can view this user guide further. You can dive into the platform functionality and dig in even further on some of the features and functions here. So, kind of as a highlight, you see we've glossed over a lot of this, but encrypted messaging and video calls and the communities, the very proof that checks for your token value or your NFT, asset tokenization, including professional services, and the intent system, the core of it all, using HTLC atomic swaps and a dedicated Bitcoin wallet. And one I haven't talked to is the Sprint dashboard, where you can go actually view all the implemented functionality and look at what's to come, what's in the backlog of features that we want to add on to the platform. And here's that basic tokenization flow, again, mapping to Reggie's patents and the protocol. You submit your request, there will be a review to make sure what we're tokenizing is legal and legitimate. The sysadmin would then deploy your token and configure a pre-sale if you wanted to, and launch it and finalize it. So this aspect here, tokenization, can really, as the world's finding out, everything eventually is going to be tokenized. Everything, right? That's where everything's headed now. Everyone's talking about RWA, real world assets, being tokenized. Well, we're taking it a step further. We're even tokenizing labor or services.
yeah,
So it's literally tokenizing anything. And so you can see then, just kind of round this out, the various user roles here. It is role-based access, as we saw. You must have certain roles to perform certain functions. Likewise, as we learned, you need to have certain things to enter certain rooms. You need to have a Smart Metal NFT to unlock that functionality. And then if you're interested in the technical architecture and the privacy and data protections we've got built in, and so on. So that's kind of the high level view of the platform, Riz.
very cool.
Anything else we want to touch on?
Not just mentioning that we actually did make an internal video of the tokenization process, which maybe we should look at sharing publicly at some point. But very impressive stuff. And this looks really good, Marco.
Thanks much. Yeah, thanks to you and Liam and everybody else who's participated and Adam and Michael, everyone who's beta testing. Our intent, so to speak, is to spend the next, I don't know, I'll call it 6 weeks, um, stabilizing and finalizing the production platform. And when we get to March, we'd like to start opening that up to bring in the public into more. Uh, I want to get into the here and here reference this so that we can get the public to come in now and participate in this as well. So we'll have the concept is to have a public beta to further ensure the platform is stable and no bugs, and anybody participating will have benefits out of that, not to mention early access to all the technology. And then if all goes well, and the other key factor is when Reggie and his development team finalizes the Veri value transfer protocol. And when that's version 1.0 MVP ready for the public, we can all go live because this platform is built on that. Once that goes live, we can go live. So the plan is to have our ducks in a row, so to speak, have all our functionality done to the extent we can, tested and ready to roll, so that when Reggie opens up his protocol, we can go live nearly immediately. So that's the next steps to come.
Very exciting. And yeah, and then basically the idea behind this be a link in the chain is essentially kind of proving your involvement or proving that you were there at the very beginning, right? So if you were to help us beta test this platform and actually fulfill or settle a successful intent, you'll be rewarded with one of these special NFTs that Omar helped create for us. Um, and yeah, basically the idea here is you would own a piece of history, proving that you were there. And the idea here would be is your transaction hash would actually be linked to your NFT, literally proving that you were part of the early
Yep, yep.
implementation of this.
You're there in the early days of P2P adoption.
Yeah,
We're in the very early stages of it, and this is something that money won't be able to buy down the road. It'll be a nice little thing you'll be able to have. You can show your grandkids someday of, hey man, I was part of that P2P revolution that happened that Reggie brought about.
exciting. It really
Yeah,
is exciting.
yeah, good stuff. So,
Yeah, great
well,
job again, Marco. This is looking very slick and excited to see all our ideas coming together um, and actually being able to visualize it.
yes, yes, coming along, and that's one last point for me. This pro services, this actually came from our community, from our Very DAO community, on ways we can monetize our own labor and skills and things that we've learned and we have inherent to us. So we can actually utilize this among our own team, and then once we exit beta, anybody can come in here and leverage this, all based on some early discussions we had around, well, how about we try this on the platform, and it turned real, right? That's how a lot of this came to fruition, this technology. Way back in August, early September of last year, Reggie challenged us in the Very DAO to go out and start up our own node. So I took him up on the challenge, and this is where it's evolved to. And as people have seen it, I showed it to Reggie in the early days, and he said, "Oh, wouldn't it be neat if you could put a chat room on there and displace the Telegram room?" Oh, great idea. So
Hmm.
that's what we did, right? We built chat rooms out here to build on that functionality. Then Reggie came back. I showed it to him. He goes, "Well, that's really cool. Be even cooler if you had video." Oh, okay. Challenge accepted. Let's go add video on. And so, in fact, we've got not to belabor it, but we've got a whole room here, a community dedicated to just feedback and ideas on the platform. And so, Riz has put in here some ideas, various other people. We've got bug tracking in here. This is the one-stop shop for feedback on the platform. So we build in the ability for the user to actually give feedback, and then we act on that feedback, because I think it's very important that the community drive the direction of where this thing's headed. And to help us with that, you can actually I'm not a moderator with Carl, but Riz is. If he went into the feedback room, he can actually create a poll and populate that poll with, ideas from the backlog or even new ideas. And then users can come in and vote on them. This is how we're going to know what the community wants to see down the road. Maybe they're good with the chat and they want some other new function or whatever. And so I'm a big believer in not only accepting user feedback, but acting on that user feedback. And so anyway, that's I may have some bugs in there,
I
again,
don't know
kind
if
of.
I filled it out correctly, to be honest. I kind of just ripped through it.
So it just goes to show, that I was actually building this feedback room and looking for ways to capture feedback. And my AI suggested, we'll put a poll out there, grab the user's feedback. And so I may even enhance that down the road to list to when you make a new poll, you can pick from the backlog items as to what you want to see, right? I'm in here as Carl, so I don't have edit capabilities, but the sprint dashboard, this is the map and the map and the breadcrumbs of how we started on the platform. You can go to past, scroll to the bottom, and you see sprint zero. The very first sprint is merely a week in time, and each week I deliver functionality. And so you can literally come in here and see, look at there, initial commit. The very first thing I did, September 9th of 2025. And in this sprint, this first week, here's the functionality that I added to the platform. And week by week, you can see the development and the progression. You can see when we did, certain demonstrations out here and when we added functionality and all that. And why I'm putting this is down the road, when we get done, hopefully we'll never be finished building this out. We'll continually build new functionality. But at some point after we go live, my intent is to open up my code into open source so that others can just come in and instead of reinventing the wheel, they can just grab what I've done and out of GitHub and go build on it or build their own. So that's kind of where that's going. The current is what I have working on in the current sprint or this week, in other words, and then backlog. This is all the future stuff. So we see, this list in my experience, if you have a good platform with growth and lots of user engagement, this will be a bottomless list of future enhancements on here. That's the goal, is as people come up with new ideas, let's add it in here and help build out the platform even further. So lots of good stuff to come. That's just kind of I got diverted a little there, Riz. Sorry, but
No, no
I get
problem.
excited talking about all the functionality out here.
Sure.
It's amazing.
Maybe one of the things we'll end with is just highlighting the fact that on the top right here we have some headphones, and this is the support page. It's also listed in the communities at the very bottom or almost at the bottom here, support. Um, and both will take you to, well, you'll see on Marco's side of the screen. to this support page. Um,
Yes, this is an active Veritaseum support page. This is where, in fact, I just yesterday I had a long call with a user on getting their Smart Metal NFT activated because they had some MetaMask issues. And that user submitted a ticket right through here, and it got assigned to me, and we resolved it. The user can also come out and just browse articles on the platform about the Veri token. Say, yeah, you want to verify a Veri token out there. You're not sure if it's the real thing or not. You can come in here and select this and actually look at the token addresses. So that's one example of, not this is a knowledge base, a growing knowledge base of all our activity. And so you can see in the beginning, we have a lot of articles on activation because that's the first step in getting going. You order and receive your smart metal, and then you have to activate it to get the NFT, which then unlocks, as we showed, this functionality in here. And so as we start unlocking more and more functionality, this knowledge base will continue to grow out here. So real good resource for the users on existing knowledge or supporting sending a support ticket if you have any kind of issue.
well, this is brilliant, Marco.
One last point on this one, Riz, again, pointing to the flexibility of the platform. This is a standalone traditional non P2P app, yet we've integrated it into our P2P platform. And then over time, we can, this is a paid service we use through Freshdesk. So over time, as we get into this even further, we can make our own P2P version of Freshdesk that actually would be more tightly integrated to the platform and be the P2P version with even more power and functionality and safety, encryption, whatnot. So we start out, this is kind of the model. You start out as traditional functionality, and then over time, bring it into the P2P world, just like we did with the Smart Metal store. Started out as, Jeremy's traditional site, and then we brought it into P2P. Started out in intent, classic, integrating in, and then we P2P'd it. So that's sort of the general path of getting new functionality in.
And when you keep saying P2P, I keep envisioning this uh, picture of these two nodes. You got the mesh here of a decentralized system, and then you got your distributed system here, where every node is actually connected to each other instead of having a centralized point. So when you say P2P, first thing that comes to mind is that image. In fact, I'll probably just slap it on the screen right now when I edit it. But eventually, we hope that everyone is running their own node and securing the network so that it will never crash. It'll never go down because there'll always be a few nodes to help keep it running.
Right. And it brings some of the other key benefits of eliminating the middlemen out, the middlemen that can mess with your transactions or charge fees for not doing anything, right? Stuff like that. If you trace the flow of, just say you have some crypto and you want to sell it for fiat because you need some cash, every step along the way, there's middlemen sucking out some of their profit, some of your money. In some cases, it's value add, and others, we're going to eliminate it. This intent process here is going to eliminate a lot of those middlemen, right? And that's why, it gets to the heart of why Reggie's in the position he's in under constant attack, because there are a lot of people, powerful people, that are afraid of what's coming. And this platform is bringing it. His patents and his protocol are enabling people like us to build these platforms that will basically eliminate those. won't eliminate all middlemen. It will eliminate middlemen that add no value.
Right. And just to reiterate, this is across chains. So this is not just specific to Ethereum or Bitcoin, or it's literally any chain. This is going back to the agnostic architecture here. Uh, you'll be able to interact with any chain. The transactions will settle on their native chains, but the transaction itself will be done in kind of this serverless cloud, if you will. Uh, Basically, this smart contract, programmable smart contract or escrow account that we just kind of demonstrated at the beginning of this video.
Yep. Yep. That's the future. That's where we're headed. And you can see it right here. Bitcoin and USDC are entirely different chains, and it settles atomic, atomic settlement, no problem. Cross chain, it's built right in through the protocol and the patents. It's beautiful. It's amazing to me. Reggie thought of this stuff and invented it a decade ago, and now we finally get to see it come to real life among all of us. So it's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Well, great job again, Marco. I know that you got to take off here in a few minutes. Is there anything else you want to show us before we wrap it up?
Oh, that's it. I do have, I'm not logged in there. There's a lot of functionality that's sysadmin and moderator behind the scenes functionality. We may want to show that someday just in support of the users and all the platform functionality. And then put in a plug to there's going to be a never ending growth if we have our way of new communities out here. And so we're going to have continued need for these episodes to highlight them and demonstrate them and tell the public about them so they can use it.
I love it. Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
All
Yeah.
right, well,
Thanks
thank
for
you,
having me.
Marco. Yeah, thank you, Marco. I appreciate you running through this with us. And yeah, looking forward to do it again and seeing what else you come up with.
All right. Sounds good. Well, a lot of it's based on you and others' input. So keep the ideas coming and we'll keep the
I'm
building happening.
I'm full of ideas. You got it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. Well, we'll catch up again next time. And yeah, thanks for everyone for joining and appreciate the support. And yeah, like always, we'll see you guys next time.
Take care.